I'm pretty good. I'm wonderful.
Good. How your internet connection doing? It's doing all right today.
Listen, it is, I don't know what's going on. It is not, I don't know. I'm gonna call the folks today because this is the only time I swear that this happened.
You sound like a man on the first date. It is okay. It happens to all of us. Don't you worry. Did you get your YouTube and your Instagram up live?
Yes, it is.
Okay, good to go. Good to go. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. I even managed to maneuver around the technical difficulties that we are having. But I am glad to be able to have these young ladies on with us because we are here not only to tell you guys about this relocation conference, what it means for you, but for everybody that doesn't know each other because we are going live on each of our platforms. We're going to give you an opportunity to understand who is in the room with you and what we are come together to be able to put together for those of you guys that are looking to move abroad. Now, I will start and then we can go ahead and get into what you guys have been up to, who you are, and then we'll get into what we are talking about today. My name is RJ Mood. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I am the owner of Mood Travel. What that means for you is we give you the ability to make your own destiny, whether it's through group tours or making your own destiny by traveling and moving abroad. We give you opportunity to put the keys back into your hand. And what I am doing right now, I've been actually in Medellin for 2.5 years. I've been in Mexico, Playa del Carmen, for the last 2 weeks, actually going about expanding, giving you guys the opportunity not just to isolate down to Colombia, but also say, hey, if Mexico's on your radar, maybe it's Panama, maybe even as venturous as South Africa. We are going to be in a position to help you guys, and this is what the conversation is going to be stimulated and designed around here today. So I get into it. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you are on YouTube, please go there, like, follow, share, and subscribe because the information that is there is designed not only to give you the real resources that you need, but the conversations that most people won't be taking the time to have with you. So, Tisha, please tell these people who you are so we can get into what we are doing here today.
Hi, guys. Everyone knows who I am by now, I think. But I am Rotisha by way of Virginia and Atlanta. I moved to Colombia about 4 years ago, and we basically set up shop and we've helped over 50 people move abroad, whether that's renting, whether that's buying property. We've done hundreds of visas. I've lost count, not just digital nomad. We do a series of visas. We have a concierge team that plans your trip from start to finish. I mean, we do a host of different things, guys. If you want to check out what I do, definitely check out Rotisha's World, relocate with Rotisha's World website. But yeah, we're just living the dream, and I think all of us want to tell you guys a way to get it too. Somehow, some way for you to experience what we get to experience as well. And so, yeah, you'll learn more about me as the time goes on.
Excellent. Miss Michelee, tell them who you are.
Am I clear? Can you hear me clearly? I hope so.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Praying, goodness. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay, all right. Well, yes, I am Michelee from LA. I am a 12-year veteran in the expat life. This is my 12th year living abroad. This is my third year, 3.5 years actually living in Medellin, Colombia. So while I'm here, host a variety of events, including craft workshops and stuff, giving people an alternative way to have fun, right? I think a lot of times people think of just going to party and drink and eat and stuff like that, right? So I like to give people another experience to see things, different parts of the culture and everything. So I collaborate with a lot of locals and stuff too. I give fruit tours, fruit market tours. I can show you, how to live, how to survive out here, how to do different things. Yeah, so yeah, that's a lot of who I am and what I do here.
Not a problem. I'm glad to have you guys. One of the big things about living abroad, you're starting to see more of it, more people talking about it, but the C word, community. This is a community of people that live abroad, especially in Colombia. I feel like as a person that has not only been in Colombia for a while, but now starting to venture into other communities, I'm starting to see just how special the community of Colombia is, the people, the opportunities that you have with the people that you meet, the opportunity to challenge yourself. And I know a lot of people are right now in the position of that first stage. I've got the idea that I want to move abroad, but let me ask you, what do you really think is holding a lot of people back from actually taking the step to move abroad?
Fear. I
Definitely.
think I think we all had. I was fearful as well. Like, I don't know if many people know my story. Prior to moving abroad, I've never traveled internationally. I've traveled all over the U.S., but internationally, I had fear. fear from my parents telling me, you're going to get kidnapped and America's not going to come get you, and all of these different things. I've had a whole passport that expired just from fear. Most of my conversations that when I'm doing my consultations, fear. And I don't know how to explain it, whether you're moving or not, right? Fear is not real. It is self-inflicted. It is self-inflicted. And if you can grasp that, you can change a lot of things in your life. So nothing has told you it won't go work out. Nothing has told you this, that was going to happen but yourself. So it's a mental game. So I think that if they can figure out that mental game, and that's part of, elevating, right? A level of discipline, realizing you can do anything if fear not real and everything's possible, and faith and all of that. Once they can conquer that, they can really excel, right? And you can see it once people move abroad. You can see it happening for them. But get rid of fear, guys. Nothing's gonna happen to you. I mean, Michelle has been abroad 11 years solo. I've been abroad 4. RJ, how long have you been abroad? And I know hundreds.
Right on 3 and traveling to Colombia before it was a place to go, almost a decade at this point.
Nothing's gonna happen to you, but your life is gonna elevate. Your spirituality is gonna increase. Your friendships are gonna be more authentic. Your health is gonna get better. Nothing, like, there is no negative. Can we, any of us, say a negative?
No,
Shout out to Hakeem. Sometimes they got to give him a little bit more of the salt and pepper in some places, But there's a menial things when you
Not,
think of the grand scheme of it. Like
yeah.
seriously, you're
well,
right.
I would
You're
I
right.
would say it's not a no, but it's an adjustment. And the thing is, if people are not open enough to adjust to something different than what they're already familiar with, then it will be more difficult, right? So really is opening yourself up first and foremost. And you can start that before you move abroad, right? Like it doesn't have to be such a culture shock. That's why I always recommend to people, to friends and family, start going out to other areas or meeting people. You know what I mean? Like it's easier than ever now. Like you can start going to different like restaurants, right? Just say for example, you're interested in moving to Colombia. You won't get the 100% authentic experience all the times, but like you can go to, for example, your local Colombian restaurant, or find, people in your neighborhood or in a city or something nearby where you have people from these cultures. Like it's so many different ways to kind of familiarize yourself before stepping outside of what's your norm. Because the thing is like our norm is not the norm of the world, right? Like that's the idea, is to expand your mind to be able to adjust to something different, just something. It doesn't have to be bad because it's different.
Yeah.
You're right. And I think a lot of people don't realize that different doesn't mean wrong.
Mhm.
People will sit in this place of complacency or even complaining and say, well, I don't like this. What have you done differently? Well, I've always done what I've done. Well, you're always going to get what you get when you've only done what you've done.
Mhm.
And I think the fear aspect is it's double sided, and I think you guys would agree with me. It's definitely going to be an internal fear, like what is going to happen? Is it going to work out? Am I making the right decision? And that's going to be before you even let it out into the world. Tell your friends or your family. But what happens a lot of times, and especially in our community, I think that fear is given a lot because you may be the first. You might have been the first to do something that, like, go to graduate high school, go to college, leave your city and go to another city to live. So
Mhm.
imagine being faced with that when your family and your friends are like, what are you talking about? Why would you go? Why would you want to go to a third world country?
Mhm.
Now, we know the education system in America is not great. So we all know that the third world country thought process and everything else is often very skewed. But a lot of the fear I think that Tisha is talking about is 100% driven by our circle because of their fear in their own lives. Because I knew people were like, you shouldn't go there. And I'm like, well, have you been? Well,
Mhm.
not. Well,
Right.
where have you been? Well, I
Yeah.
haven't been anywhere. So you want me to get to your age and have said the exact same thing? And this time on this earth is very small. So I thought about it when faced with the fear of my peers and my family, as well as my own fears, and said, let me ask myself this: what if I don't go? If I don't go, then I can see exactly what it is I'm going to get, exactly where I'm going to go, and exactly how it's going to be. Maybe there'll be some differences, but it seems relatively like straightforward. Whereas, as a making my own destiny kind of person, I didn't want just some sort of cookie cutter answer. So I was willing to go inspect, what I expected as far as to see if it was for me. And a lot of people, when they go to move abroad, think that this their first move abroad is actually that's it. I left the United States and they won't let me back in. I've heard that. Have y'all heard that? Like, well, if I leave, I've got to give up my citizenship. Who told
Right?
you that?
But it's just, but that's the thing, it's pure ignorance, right? Like just literally the absence of actual knowledge.
Yeah, and it's not anybody in America's fault. We already know just the standard reading, writing system, mathematician, like all of that is already skewed. However, when you factor into global thought process, when you live in a country where America first, and no one else, almost sometimes it comes off like that. You're not exposed to opportunities to actually see the world, and it's the funniest thing because the rest of the world in a lot of these places, it's one majority. America is such a big melting pot, guys. And you mentioned like going out into your neighborhood, there's cultures, things. How many of those are prevalent in other places where it's a big melting pot of all of these communities? So we have the biggest melting pot, yet the most ignorance when it comes to actually moving abroad. And it's just something to think about and consider when we're looking there. Now, let me ask you guys this because I know why for me, and I'll go last, but a lot of people might say, well, why Colombia? Like, what about it? Like, you must speak fluent Spanish. That must be the reason why you picked it. What was the reasons why you guys narrowed down to Colombia from where you possibly started at? Tisha, you want you
I think it was more of Colombia, in my case, chose me. I didn't
hmm,
really have a destination because remember, I never traveled internationally, right? So I started my search. Mine came like a download, like, hey, it's time for you to move. But then I just went on the YouTube dive of like where to go, what's safe, what are other expats doing, what is an expat. I didn't know any of these things, right? And so luckily I found a good company and a resource that I reached out to, and that was for Colombia. But I tried Turkey first. I tried Mexico first to see if I wanted to live there. And Mexico just wasn't my vibe. Turkey is my vibe all day long, but it's just too far. So when you start checking the boxes, you're like, okay, I want to be by, I did, and at that time I didn't know I wanted to be by water. I just knew I didn't want to be too far. And I was like, okay, it's only 2.5 hours from Miami. The cost of living is extremely low. I can come in and out if I want to. There's Afro Colombians there, so there will be a soft landing for me when I get there. So that was my thought process. So Colombia was my third location, but I didn't know I was going to be in Santa Marta. And so I didn't really do it. I just knew I had to go. Honestly, guys, I honestly listened to what was being told to me, and I said I had to go. So it didn't matter where I ended up. But to me, I think Colombia chose me.
I
talk to me,
love it.
Michelle, because you have been multiple places. And I had asked you this before. I said, what you have been to multiple countries, but you had mentioned it was like always like work related. You had mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong, like Colombia was like one of the first places like you chose to go that wasn't based off of like job placement.
Well, it wasn't necessarily always job related. Like I first moved abroad to Ethiopia and I didn't go there for a job, but and also to Qatar. I didn't go there with the job either. It was really only Egypt. That's where I went to teach. So I eventually started working. Yeah, I eventually started working there. But yeah, I think for me, why I chose Colombia, and this was a time in my life where I just wanted like a fresh, like a reset, right? I have been used to teaching. That's what I do professionally. But I'm like, it's time for me to go out and execute. It was a creative aspiration, right? Like, I have a bunch of skills and different things, and I wanted to have a place where it wouldn't be too difficult to do that. So again, like as Tisha mentioned, it's not too far from the States, right? Like if I wanted to see my family, because I had been on the other side of the world for so long. And those are what,
Yeah.
14, 15 hour. Ain't nobody trying to do 14, 15 hour, 20-hour travel to come back to visit family and stuff all the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll do it again. But yeah, I ended up choosing here after being in the desert, being in Egypt and Qatar for 7 years, for over 7 years. So coming to Colombia, it was my first time in South America, my first time in this country, and it was just so green and so vibrant. And like I said, I'm a
Yeah.
person that likes change. And so it was refreshing to see again the scenery, to see the culture, that was so different than what I had adjusted to. Literally my wardrobe, my everything, right? Like if you're living in a more conservative sort of, in that type of society where everybody's covered up. And it's not saying I want to walk around naked or nothing, like, but it's just a different, I was in the sun there, but this is a different type of sun, right? Like this is a different type of environment. So I was like, I needed it. And I literally just made that decision quickly. But yeah, I've loved it. I love, again, how Tisha mentioned the Afro Colombian culture here too. So it's like I'm around people that look like me, that we got something, in
Yeah.
common. So yeah, all of those different things just made it like the perfect choice for me.
That is definitely many of the reason why I got invited in 2017 by a girl I went to school with. And that's how Colombia even got on my radar because at that time it wasn't somewhere that people were going. And that's initially how it got on my radar. I went there completely blind to Cartagena. And that was the first place that I went where they seemed happy that I was black also. They, tu eres mi color. And at the time, I did not know what that meant. I knew what color meant. But I'm like, what is he saying? He's like, you are black like me. And I'm like, that's interesting. And I'll tell you why in 1 second. So moving to Colombia was a matter of, okay, I had a great time and I had started bringing people, so I was familiar with them. I started learning my Spanish in Cartagena. So by the time I actually moved, I had some base of that. But when I got home back to Colombia, I always felt like I needed to go back. Like there was something like an energy that was there. So with the first opportunity to go move abroad, my thought process was, okay, I'm going to go spend 3 months in Colombia. Then I'm going to come here where I'm in right now, Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I'm going to come right here. And that's going how it's going to be. And then we'll figure out where we want to go. Well, you guys all know about the energy of Colombia and what happens when a piece of you has been touched that you didn't even know existed. So we got to Medellin and it's as green as I've ever seen it. The mountains are beautiful. And I'm looking at everything and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to leave. There's no way. I don't want to go be hot. I don't want to be no sand around the sand. It was 70 to 80 degrees all year long. Half the year I'm on Central Time. Half the year I'm on Eastern Time. That was important for me as a business owner as well. From Monday to Friday, relative 9 to 5, still working with my customers. That was important. The proximity you mentioned. I'm from Philadelphia. I can get a straight flight from New York. Take the train down to Philadelphia. I'll be home before 10 or 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So these were all things that were at the top of the list of why Colombia. And then one of the biggest things was I was moving from South Florida. My thing was I had almost $3,000 a month in rent. Everybody in South Florida got a Benz, so I had one of those. And you just look up and it's all this money being spent. And I realized that, hold on, $1 is about 4,000 Colombian pesos. Now, that was just an economic decision once you got all of the other particulars out. But I really looked at it and I said, I work for every dollar that comes into this house. And so many people may be in this scenario too. No, you work for every dollar, whether you work for an employer or not, but there's nowhere I show up. So I look at every dollar a little bit differently, probably than the average bear. And I'm saying, okay, if I'm doing everything and I'm still spending $8,000 to $10,000 a month, and this is just bare necessities and basic things. What if I didn't have to do that with the same effort?
Right.
What would my life look like there? So when in comparison to the other locations, weather, climate, weather, how much things cost, opportunity to come outside of my bubble. I didn't want to go somewhere they were speaking English. Like, what am I going to do there? I might as well move to Puerto Rico because you can go to there and feel like you're speaking English and be off the United States. I really wanted to be immersed in culture. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me with Colombia because it was like, it hit all of the boxes that I needed. And then a bunch of boxes was like, you didn't think about this, but your behind needs that. You need to be around it. Because let me ask y'all this. When y'all first got to Colombia and your friends were starting to see some of these black Colombians y'all were around. Was their response similar to my friends? Because my friends was like, "Who are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are they? They're
I
not."
was like, who are they? A little bit.
They all thought they were Black Americans, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, bro, these are Colombians." I
Yeah.
get the question, bro.
You
Let me
don't
tell
know.
you something.
Well, look,
I've heard it from multiple.
this is right on time for a conversation that's been up a lot, like as far as these
Cool.
it's sort of like, information on or things being said about the diaspora, right? And it's like diaspora wars, this and
Mm-hmm.
that. Every other conversation I'm seeing, It's something about that. And so I think, again, you mentioned RJ about our education in the US, even though everybody thinks is up here. Really, what do we actually know? Like, do we know other Black people in the diaspora? Do we know their stories? Like, a lot of people don't even realize that enslavement existed here. They have plantations, sugar plantations, right? All of the stuff, the same thing.
Hundreds of years before the United States.
Literally, like their independence is before ours as well. The very first free town in the entire Americas, like Freetown, as in enslaved people
Yeah.
escaped and established their own town, existed here first. Like the very first one in the Americas, period, is here in Colombia. Right? Like, so it's really an ignorance of our history and what Black is, right? And I think a lot of times we let people define what Black is, and we just think, oh, Black, because you can't call it like something else, like Jamaican or Colombian, or you know what I mean? And it's like, well, really, it was another stop on the boat. Like, it's literally, we're the same
It's
people.
an
Like, we
earlier
literally
bus.
we came from the same places. That's how we got everywhere. And it's like, I think it's for us Black Americans, what I'm hearing and seeing is like hurt from feeling disconnected. But it's like when I talk to a lot of my Afro-Colombian friends, and I'm going to their events and finding out, their history and things like that, and being amongst them in these conversations, they're having the same conversations that we are. They experience racism, colorism, all of that stuff the same way that we do. Being locked out of jobs and opportunities. When you look at, they like to say that is, what is it called? Like classism instead of racism in some places, right? They like, oh, it's not like America. The thing is, people know that US history is so heavily, like, our situation with
Advertised.
race is like, we have the big movements and stuff. Everybody else does too. Like, we know South Africa, right? We knew apartheid. We were alive. We literally, everybody, we in our late 30s in 40s, we were alive during apartheid, right? Like when it was literally in action. So it's like everybody else, if we familiarize ourselves with world history, not just our own, I think we take on this, it's an egotistical thing, like where we only are familiar with our history. That's an American idea, right? A US American idea, where we are the center of the world. The thing is like there are other people who have these histories where they're affected to today. How you expect everybody to know your history, but you don't know nobody else's? Like, I think it's just, we just have to educate ourselves more to find that connection amongst each other and realize that we will find what we're looking for. You can find community, family outside of, just what you're familiar with.
Here's the thing though. The issue I think it comes down to across the diaspora is our story, African Americans, Black people, whatever you guys want to put, Jamaican, nobody's story started from slavery. Yet
No.
that is what we are given. We are given slavery. You were in Africa in a hut, then we brought you here, and then slavery, and then it was, and then from there, and then what most of us don't realize is that's why we're looking at, oh, well, they're not us. Well, first of all, they're not only us, they're just us on an earlier bus. But before there was an enslavement of us, there was an entire empire. But we don't get that information. So that's where a lot of people in across the diaspora get hitched up on, because the way it was positioned is very like isolated to, you guys were just this. And what I realized coming into Colombia is, no one, obviously, no, we weren't just that, but there was a lot more of me in these people that I was realizing than what I got before I got on that plane. And that was one of the biggest things, because when you get down to a place like Colombia, you'll realize, yes, you are American, but once you put yourselves in a position to be around people that look like you that are not American, you are going to realize the similarities. Like bingo and spades, two different games, but they
Literally,
are played with the same animosity. Like
I'm
these
telling
things
you.
weren't apparent to me. And one of the things that we know are definitely on here to do, outside of have these conversations, give you some understanding into what moving abroad is like, because that's some of the backdoor stuff, some of the stuff that you need before you go and when you get here. But we are actually doing a virtual relocation conference. And the conference is bigger than Nino Brown. It is bigger than us. We have over 10 speakers that are going to be covering things that you actually need to know outside of these conversations. We are going to be touching things like healthcare, real estate, immigration visas, the different types of ones that you can have. What the difference between living on a beach town in Santa Marta or what living in Medellin and a big city vibe is like? What else do you also need? I saw somebody in the IG comments. Make sure y'all checking your comments also on Instagram. You do have to go back to the page to do so. But somebody was saying, I wish I would have learned about moving abroad before my son started school. He was 10 years old, and I'm like, there are so many parents that had that same hitch, and now we're finding out that there are many global families, single moms living abroad with multiple children, mothers and fathers moving abroad with one or two children, or even three. And these kids are actually in a better position to grab life by the horns by putting them into a place like Colombia or a different culture at such a young age, because they can get those language barriers unblocked a lot easier than we can as adults. This conference brings on all of the actual items that you need. Every individual that we had to use and piece together, we put them all in one place so that you don't have to. You guys just have to be able to be open to spending a little bit of time with us on a Saturday. That's going to be August 23rd. So a little bit over a month away, but tickets are available. You guys can go to Move Travel Colombia. That is two O's in Colombia. MoveTravelColombia.com and check it out. We've got our super early bird ticket, so you will get a discount if you are signed up for the early bird. But want to get back to the conversation, what they say on the podcast, got to pay some bills. But seriously,
Right.
let me ask you guys this. Can you guys share a moment where, because Tisha, you have a unique situation, you actually use a relocation company when
Mhm.
you moved here.
Yes.
Can you tell me what that experience was like, why you decided to do it, and what you see that you didn't get that you really needed?
I would say the reason why I decided it, one, I did know Spanish, right? And I am a person that I value my time more than money. So, like, I like stuff done for me. And so I knew I wanted to visit three locations. So that was Medellin, Santa Marta, Barranquilla. And me not being on the ground, it would be silly of me to think that I could organize that the proper way and do everything I needed to get done. I wanted to see properties in all of those places. I wanted someone in the property managing the home, making our meals and all of that while we were there. Because again, I didn't know the language, so I didn't know how easy it would be for me to even go to a restaurant and order food and
Mm.
stuff. So I like to be prepared. And I think that made my trip a lot better, right? Because I already felt like a community, right? They picked me up from the airport and took me immediately to see properties. And I did tours of the Colombia, and they had all of that set up. I made it to one island with no phone service, and they contacted me somehow on that island. So I felt safe and secure. And it was just, I couldn't imagine doing it without that.
Mm.
And because we were supposed to spend a whole week in Banakir, and when we got there, Keller Williams picked us up, started looking at properties, and then I was just like, no. Once I saw the water, it was just like, come on, man. Like, is this even real? Like, it's like some Gilligan Island. Like, this is the prices? Like, I can. And so we left Banakir the next day, literally, like, now let's go back to Santa Marta. And I couldn't imagine doing it without that. And the reason why I started this, because the person who helped me left and
Hmm.
went to Bogota, but he's now back. So we're thinking about doing something together. But even to say that, look, y'all, the fee I pay him is not even, I don't even charge a third of that. So I pay a really premium fee to get all of this done. I think it's the best thing that could happen. I had an amazing trip. I felt special. I felt rich. I had transportation waiting for me everywhere I needed to go. And yeah, it helped my decision making process really easy. Like, we came from in April, we left in May, and then I went home, sold everything, and we moved back in July. And we've been here ever since.
See, that's what a lot of people don't realize with the relocation process, because it is not the average move. Um, if you move from New Jersey to Miami, you're like, okay, realtor, I'm going to go. There's an MLS listing. Things are going to be done in relative same order from Philadelphia to Miami. Cool. There are so many nuances that are, one, nuance to being outside the country, and then two, even niche down even more to where you are, where
Mhm.
you are. What goes in Santa Marta may not go in Cartagena, and both of them are in Colombia.
Exactly.
And most people don't realize that. And then we say, well, how am I going to ever know where to start? Well, that is where we kind of did the reach back. So I did not have a relocation expert, a relocation guide of any sort. I was fortunate enough to have a hookup on a property that I was able to move in, and I knew the owner from my cousin.
Okay.
If not, I would have been on Airbnb starting from scratch from the beginning with everyone else. But when I went and started having more conversations with, people like us that had moved abroad and everything, what I realized was we all had to do the same thing. But depends on how you got it unrolled, it was a little bit different. So I started to go back and piece some of these things together. Well, I needed to figure out healthcare because even though I'm not an old person or a sickly person, I get sick, get a cold. Do I have to go to the doctor or are they coming up to me? That wasn't really an option.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't something I was privy to. Then, where to live for walkability. A lot of people don't realize that America is uniquely set up for people with mobility issues. So I get into real conversations with the people that are moving and ask them, what's your mobility like? Do you have hard time walking long distances? What about up hills?
Mm-hmm.
These are all things when it comes to where you're going to move into that go into the thought process of execution. That's why I wanted to bring Tisha's experience with working with a relocation expert because, yes, it does save you time, energy, and money. But it will also probably, I think it would be the determining factor whether or not you have a good time. Because if you
Exactly.
go and put your money into places and you get a scam before you even get into the airport, are you going to be as excited as you was? Because all the people that put the fear in your heart are going to say, I told you so.
Yep. Yeah.
So that is why this conference exists because we needed to make certain that the people that were going to be coming from to America behind us didn't stumble out of the blocks like every last one of us did with something. Let me ask you, because you're just getting back. Welcome back, Michelee. When you moved to Medellin for the first time, did you have some sort of guide, group to go to, a community to become a part of?
Not necessarily, sort of. Okay, so I had a friend like that I met was put in touch with somebody who lived here, right? And so they took me out, to eat and everything. We met officially like my second day here. And that this person was Jasper. If anybody knows Jasper, Jasper is like he knows everybody, like everybody knows him.
Yeah.
And so basically, his wife now, his girlfriend at the time, she sold like she makes like African inspired garments and stuff. And so the travel friend that we had, a mutual friend, put us in touch. He was like, I know somebody who's Colombian, she lives there and she does stuff that you do, talking about the creative things. And I'm in touch with her now. She was like, oh well, my boyfriend is from Georgia. And so we ended up becoming close or whatever. They ended up like kind of giving me, if I remember correctly, like helping me with a few things. But like I said, this wasn't my.
Lost her again.
I am so.
I
We're
want
going
to
to have to put.
piggyback on some RJ.
Go
The
for it, sis.
I don't
one thing
know.
too, guys, that you don't realize, it's not even the help to get the lease done. It's everything afterwards. It's the grocery store. It's paying your bills. It's setting up your phone company. It's finding trusted drivers. It's where do I order my meats? And I'm very particular about my food. Where are the natural stores? Where do I shop? Like it's how do I travel to others? Like you need still. I sold a property 4 years ago, and that customer still calls me today. Okay, you are gonna always need some help or you're gonna mess up, you're gonna do stuff wrong, you're gonna lower your frequency, you're gonna overpay, you're not gonna have the same experience, right? I had a friend who moved down here and she was like, I want that $300-$400 rent. And it's gonna give you that $300-$400 experience. While we're over here living on the beach, having the best time, having lunch and brunch, and we're walking and everybody's hanging out, she's on the whole nother side of town feeling isolated. She was so isolated that she left to go to Thailand because she just felt like she didn't have the same exact experience. So you got to remember, don't chase cheap and actually pay for the service you want. Like you want a beautiful experience. You want a
Yeah.
beautiful experience. You're moving to a new country. You don't want the energy of that. You don't want any of that. Don't do it, just do it right. I would just say do it right, because I couldn't imagine moving my whole family abroad and not having boots on the ground. Like I wouldn't, that's crazy.
Boots on the ground.
Hmm.
No, but you're right, and that's why we try to do our best with the virtual conference, because the virtual conference is similar to this, just a lot more structured. But it gives you, whoever happen to be watching this, wherever you are, it gives you the opportunity to sit right where you are right now and get the people that you are actually going to meet when you come over and do our relocation tours. Literally, shout out to Terry. Terry came on our virtual relocation conference in March. He is now planning to visit us here in Medellin the first week of August. And he's going to come and actually meet all of the people that presented to him in person and then get narrowed down to how can he and how can his particular family come about moving abroad. So this virtual conference is designed to say, let's meet you where you are. And let's give you an opportunity to hear from everybody that is going to be the resources that you need. Immigration, healthcare. We get so narrowed down. We've got Michelee on for volunteerism opportunities, because once you get here, you touching the ground and having an impact on the community is how you impact gentrification in a positive way. Because you are actively coming back and donating resources, time, energy to a community that will open its doors for you if you are available. But you also have people that are designed to go above and beyond just basic relocation. So we have trained therapists, licensed therapists that will be providing coaching for expats as well as for their children. Because when you go to move abroad, how do you cope with something or teach your kid how to cope with a new language, a new culture, a new pace of speed in their daily life? These are all things that are designed to help you guys have a lot easier path to success moving abroad, whether it's Colombia or anywhere else. So, Michelee, I know we lost you. You
Yeah.
want to get back into what you were talking about?
Yeah, I'm sorry guys. I don't know what's going on with this connection right now.
I'm going to
I
take you to the
swear
cafe next time.
normally it's right. I'm like next time I'm gonna just have to go somewhere else, but it's not my home. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I think a lot of that and what I love about it, a quick little piece to put in there too. I saw Kelly who came on the in-person virtual conference, the in-person conference. I saw her out with her family when she
She
came.
now lives here.
Yeah, she
Yes,
came
and
out
so,
here to
yeah.
scout
So what?
for her,
Shout out to Kelly
for
also,
her
and
family, and they made the move.
2025 has
So I
definitely
saw
showed me
them all
that we are
out the
doing
other
the right
night
thing. Kelly got
having
hooked up
dinner.
with us
And
maybe a
so,
month
yeah, I took
before
her
the
and
actual
her
physical
children
relocation
to
tour.
a
She
fruit
came
tour,
out to
one of the fruit
Medellin.
tours that I
She said, "Hey,
do,
RJ,
and they
you
had
know,
a
I have
wonderful
children.
time.
Can you give me some
We
insight?"
really
Well,
just
at the
look at
time, I
all of
only
the
had my little
different
dog,
things
and I
to
don't have any kids.
incorporate
So I made
into
sure
this
that when she
experience to give
came,
you like a
we brought on
well-rounded
resources that she was
um
going to need to get an
preview
understanding
right
of
before you
what
make the move,
schools were
like when
like,
you
what
do
the options
the
were,
tour. I
city
think
and
I
a
lost
language that you don't speak.
connection.
These were all things that we brought on to the platform and the conference as resources. So whether it's you have a kid or you're just coming by yourself or with your partner, the conference is designed to really give you a snapshot of life here at a very low cost. That way, you
Yes.
can take that money and go to the airport and buy a buy your ticket and come on the relocation tour. Because what I will tell you as a relocation expert, I will tell you inspect what you expect. I hate to sound like a broken record, but for you to be in the dire scenario you're in, to go possibly go move abroad and then to go sell everything that you own, car, and I know you're ready to go. I know you're ready to go. But for me to tell you that, I would be doing you a disservice. You may need to go on multiple relocation tours because so many belly. Y'all want to go to Africa, all of it.
Yeah.
And there's so many different continents. You guys want to go to Colombia, but Medellin is not Santa Marta, it's not Cartagena, it's not
It's
Barranquilla,
not.
it's not Bucaramanga, it's not Bogota. It's all different. So if you don't inspect what you expect from what you plan on your life being once you go move abroad, go to do all the things that you see people on TikTok doing, then how can you realistically say you've done the due diligence at this big age? So we try to make sure that the conference brings all of that stuff right to you, gives you the information that you need to say, is this something that I'm really ready to go embark on? Are these things that I can follow these resources and move in a way where I can now feel safe and put that fear behind me and take the first step. And Tisha and I will be here with additional resources that will, when she gets her internet back, that will continue to come on that are designed to help this conference make it make sense for you. That's one of the biggest things when I have these conversations. A lot of people are at a confused position. You know why? Because they're turning their TVs off and they're turning platforms off, internet, whatever the case is. Because have you seen the news recently? The news doesn't give you any hope for positivity. It gives you a lot of cause for pause and say, is this sustainable? And a lot of people at this point are positioning themselves to be resources for to answer those questions as far as what do I do with what not I don't know what to do. So that is why we have come on here today to originally talk about this conference, give you guys some
RJ, did I
understanding and
lose
put
you?
some. I'm here.
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. I think, yeah, Michelee is, she's probably walking to a cafe or something right now, but it's all good. Let me take a look at what we got over here because I definitely want to,
Yeah, there's some questions in the chat, so I'll start
oh,
at the
yeah,
top
go
while
for
you
it.
work on that. All right, so Erica asks, so why do you would like move? I'm guessing
Yeah,
she's saying why do you would like move to Colombia? I think we answered that. I think it
we
was
could,
it was just more of Colombia called us, right? There was so many countries. I think too, living in the United States, we assume like we're just the biggest, the baddest, the greatest. It is so many countries out here, y'all. Like I've already researched where I'm going if I leave Colombia, if something happens here or if anything, you have access. You can pivot, you can change your plan, and there's options, right? So there's people who just stay in certain countries for like 3 months or more and they just travel around. You don't have to do it like I did or RJ did. I needed a home base. I have a
yeah,
child. So I'm stationary here forever in Santa Marta, even if I have homes in other countries and other places. So you have choices to do it. You don't have to say, "Oh, I got to choose this forever." No, you could do 3 months here, a month there, 6 months here. You can switch it out, but just know you have another option, right? And like he said, there's so many parts of Colombia. Like now, I'm researching so many places. I'm like, I want a house over here because I want to grow this. I want a place over here because it's near all of the extreme sports, and I'm just and the options are there, guys. We haven't even started talking about the prices of properties of what you can actually buy on the Caribbean coast, like overlooking the water. It's insanity, and so that opens up so many doors. So I hope I answered that question. Hey, Rodney, I know you'll be back soon. We will see you soon. We miss you out here. Let's see. Jesus. I'm just trying to see how I can support myself. I'll be gone tomorrow. That's another fear based question. We are all we need. Everything we need is already in us. Everything we're hoping for is already a life cycle that has happened. You have to increase your frequency so you can tap into that life cycle. Michelle is on this call. She has worked in a job for 11 years. She is traveling solo. She has been able to take care of herself very well. So things will happen. It's that fear base that keeps you stuck. That fear keeps you not believing in yourself. And the moment you show faith, the universe is going to give you every single thing you need to make it happen. Guys, don't let internet fool you. I have multiple businesses. Not one of my businesses have I ever had every single dime for day one. Not one. So it would never be enough. You would never have enough. You would never save enough. You just have to go and do it. Just go
let
and
me
do
say this though, because I know a lot of people, you might not be an entrepreneur, and I got a lot of homies. I'll be 38 in like a couple of weeks, and literally, I'm like, I've been on computers and telecom like the entire time. And some people may be in a position where they haven't touched a computer since college, and now they're looking to go move abroad, but they're like, well, how do I make money abroad? One of the biggest things I will tell people is in the United States, let's say that you need to make $60,000 a year to afford the life that you would want where you live at. That life could be afforded to you, maybe even half of that
Yeah.
abroad.
Yeah.
I bring that up is because when you go to look at, well, what am I going to do when I go to move abroad? I tell people to change their energy and to change their mindset in regards to what your skills are, what your actual talents are. Because you're thinking of, I need to go make $75,000 a year because that's what you're trained to do in the United States.
Mhm.
Whereas that same 75, you would be living like a person that make 150 or 200,000 in your desired place, and you may not need to go actually
To
make that
that
amount of money.
exactly.
So you are able to look into different careers. I went to I was in St. Louis like 2 weeks ago. I got my eyes checked out by the optometrist. This woman, middle-aged white woman, gonna tell me I might look into doing something else because I'm really looking to leave, and I don't know if I can be an optometrist abroad. Let me tell y'all, if they are telling me they don't know me from a can of paint. Only thing she knew, she's like, "Oh, you live abroad and you do relocation," and she just started opening up like a butterfly. She just know me from a can of paint. But that is where everybody is. So I know us are in an even more unique scenario because I'm like people that I don't know that don't seem to maybe not have a kindred spirit with me are like, hey, you can know how to get out. Do you know a job? So
Yeah.
take that comment. The person, I think it was Jose, look at what you're good at,
Yeah.
how it can translate to an online remote work job. Don't look all the way at the budget from what your salary expectations are in the United States versus what your salary expectations could be abroad. That will give you the freedom that you need. If you have entrepreneurial spirit, start an online business. There's 1,000 things you can do. But for my workforce, you may need to look into other careers or be willing to take a less salary in consideration that your lifestyle is not going to cost as much. But if you want to say, I need to make $100,000 in order remotely, in order for me to go live in Colombia, it may take you a lot longer than the average person to go find that $100,000 a year remote job. That's all I'm saying.
Yes, guys, you can do if you're gonna work, right? If you really still gonna work for somebody, you can do simple jobs like data entry. You can do because you don't need that much to survive. $100 can last you 2 weeks, like literally,
A
and
little
that's
bit more
still
than that, depending on
yeah,
what you're doing.
that's still eating out. So when I'm doing my consultations, that's the first thing people say, like, I don't know what to do to make money. I mean, write a book, do some printer. I don't care. It will come, right? It's I don't know how to get them packed. I know how to get them because I have clients, but it's just like if I could shake up the masses of just believing everything will be provided, you just got to do the work.
It's tough because that's why we have to have the conversations of like we understand you
Yeah.
may be a paycheck away from it all like shifting, so you don't want to position yourself. We're like, yo, I'm making 80 and everything is already tough, so why would I go
Yeah.
make 50 and it's going to be even tougher for me because I just lost 30,000? And I'm like, you don't, you know what, let's give them a little understanding of what pricing could be like, because I think that's where the hitch is and why somebody wouldn't want to take a job that cost they're making less. They're calling us asking, well, what job can I get in Colombia? None of them. You don't if your thought process is to move abroad to go get a local job, you are thinking about it the wrong way. So, see, I know Santa Marta is way cheaper than Medellin. Just give me a little high level, like, a 1 bedroom. I can see the ocean, beach is not far, and the waterworks and electricity don't go out every 5 minutes. How much?
You can okay, is this luxury or low or mid or low?
Let's go
Luxury,
mid. Let's not go
let's
luxury.
go
Let's let's
mid.
let's keep
Let's
it
go mid. Mid is 700.
700 US dollars, 1 bedroom. Now keep in mind that seven is is that furnished?
Yep, that's furnished.
Do they have to pay utilities?
Yes.
What utilities do they have to pay?
Air, water, gas, internet.
Average price. One person working from home, I would say they're gonna be in the house most of the day with the air on.
Price for internet is about $20. Average price for water $10. Average price for gas about $10. Average price for the air, it depends on how much you're running it. I run my air all day. So I'm paying about $100 right now. Again, that depends on the neighborhood because where I moved from, I was paying like 200 and something. And then I think that's it. Yeah, that's all you have to pay. Now you can pay a higher amount and have it all included in your Airbnb fee, but you're gonna pay a premium in Airbnb. But yeah, you could definitely do 7. You can go as low as 5. It just depends on where you want to be and what beach you want to be on and where you want to be near. But guys, it is possible. Like when I left Atlanta, my rent was $2,400. That was 4 years ago. The moment I moved to Colombia and we were living in the number one property in Santa Marta, I paid 700 and some dollars a month. I had bowling alleys, swim up bars, jacuzzi, saunas, bars, massages. The people were there all day to do massages. I mean, the experience, your life expands. So don't
Hmm.
think but and it's not just the cheap, not just the rent at the right price it should be, it's everything. It's the upkeep of yourself, your nails, your hair, the food, your entertainment, your learning, your courses. All of that is the price it should be. I don't like to say stuff is cheap.
Yeah, the
It's
prices should be.
the price it should be.
Nah. That's real. The prices should be is definitely a thing because even in places like, and I'm like, I think Panama is like a 1-to-1 currency exchange, but I'm like, things aren't the price that it cost in the United States. Like a $40 steak could probably cost like $11 or something like that. So it's way discounted. You realize immediately when you move abroad how much of your life was spent on finances just going into basic necessities. And you realize moving abroad, that's why I was like, what? I didn't know, but I was like, what could I get that I didn't know was going to be waiting for me abroad? And now I can answer that question, which is I can have a better life and not have to spend 80 hours just to be able to maintain the money that I need to be able to have said life. In this month, we have probably taken, by the end of it, 10 flights.
Yeah.
I've been in 4 countries, and by the end of this month, I have been in 4 countries.
And try
That
doing
is
that from the
probably right. Even from South Florida, it was just like, but I got $8,000 to $10,000 in bills a month. Like, how am I going to work that out and still spend another 4 or 5 grand in travel? I had to reprioritize what it was, and I realized America first, and me living in America was not a first priority for me at all. And once I knew better that things were going to be cheaper, I did better. So, you got any more questions in your comments?
Oh, let me definitely check it out. Let's see. Hello, I want to know the best way to move money to Colombia. Any banks that you recommend? Things. It depends on what you're trying to move. If it's a depends on the amount, right? If it's a large amount, definitely a wire. A wire to Colombia is probably your easiest bet. But there's apps that you can use. I love this one app. I'm probably not going to pronounce it properly, but it's called Remitly.
Yeah. I heard that.
I use that every day, all day. I tell all my clients to use it. Once you got the people's information, you can send money instantly just like that. So I can put a link in the chat in 1 second. But yeah, other
Yeah,
than that, a wire.
does Remitly have any what you call them? Because I know at one point I was using them. I was using them in Wise, but I thought it had like some sort of cap on the number, how much money you could send to somebody.
Okay, so this has happened to me before. Okay, if you're gonna be using Remitly multiple times and like for large amounts, then go ahead and get verified. Go ahead and do the extra step to get verified, and that's going to be sending in your bank statements and all of that, which I had to do because we were sending money over for the to build the restaurant.
Yeah,
Now, at one point, we sent. There is a cap throughout the year. We had capped out in one of our accounts. We had sent more than their cap, right? So we couldn't send from that account. You could, but it sent you to the bank to pick up your money. So just keep that in mind. Another question.
here's one
Go
I
ahead.
use that could help them.
Uh-huh.
MoneyGram.
MoneyGram.
MoneyGram allows you to send straight from Banco Colombia to Bank Colombia or Davienda for
Mm-hmm.
Colombia at least. I don't know which ones for the other locations
Mm-hmm.
as far as countries, but they do have a transfer to money option, and I've been able to pay my rent through there like multiple times. So
See,
that's
other
why I asked about the how what was the transaction amount.
yeah. So the other one was no negative. I've always known end up back there. I was born there, but I feel like a foreigner with just visits. Here to see what I can learn to make the move. I think too, now that I've done it, right? I think they're making it bigger than what it is. You need support, right? But once you say you're gonna do something, just stick it. Just like lock in and stick it, right? So I would say if you just start selling everything. I think when I left in May, I just started downsizing every big item I sold to my friends first. Like then I did a yard sale for like 4 weekends straight, y'all. Because I had a goal. I said I want 10 grand out of my yard sale. Literally, I spoke it. And once I hit that mark, I didn't care what them people got that stuff for. That last we still had a house. I mean, I had 3 levels. We still had so much stuff, and there was a company that picked everything up for us for free. Like favor was happening for us. Let me tell you, there's another thing. When you know you about to move abroad and it's happening with the least resistance and everything is just going to flow, you are on the right timeline. That is what I knew. That was my confirmation when I moved because I had no clue. I had nobody to look into it to or like physically that I knew, but it was the path of least resistance and everything was going as the plan. So that's just one little uh jewel I'll drop there. But let's go ahead and answer the other questions that you guys have sent to us throughout the week and we'll go from there.
Yeah, nah, that is cool. That is definitely something that a lot of people gloss over, And I will point that out because the moment you do go to sell all your stuff, I'm gonna ask you, Tisha, because it's a little personal, but we here.
It was disgusting.
Did you realize that you were a hoarder?
Look,
So
I was finding multiple blenders, double coffee machine. I was like, what was this? Like, it was disgusting. And I needed to be that way because now I purge a lot. Like, soon as my closet get nasty here, I give it away. Like, I don't want to have that life anymore. I like traveling with one bag. I want to be as far away from a consumer as possible. And the good thing about Colombia is not putting your face, like, we forget holidays, we forget so much stuff because it's not like and then I'm
buy,
not
buy, buy. We have a
bye bye.
President's Day sale. Like
Is that
I
yeah?
don't
And
care
I'm
about
not
nobody
watching TV.
president to go purchase something in honor of them. Like, man, Barack, I appreciate you. This,
Exactly. No.
and that's what I wanted to say because when you do that, when you go to actually sell all your stuff, most of y'all won't realize that they put the show Hoarders on TV just so that we feel better about all of ourselves. Because
Mm,
everybody, never mind moving abroad, but when you go move from one city to the next and you go have to put your house back as if you were never there, you say to yourself, when did I get all of this stuff?
it
And
was
you realize like you have a bunch of things that you haven't seen in since the time that you moved in. And what I found when I went to go sell all of my stuff and get rid of it was that my priorities have been so focused on accumulation of stuff and things that this was really the first opportunity that I felt in my life that I was going to shed all that stuff and things and really try to start living life.
yes, yes.
That's what moving abroad gave for me. It gave me an opportunity to actually live life, be Roger, the person that I actually am. My name is Roger, like not RJ. My name is Roger, like who I am when nobody else is around. It gave me the opportunity to start being that again
That person
versus how much I can buy, how many things, what I can, a section in the club. Like,
with your
my life
friends
was
think
on
of you, how
my
everybody
life was
look at
on
you.
terrible trajectory and so many people's are because America the way it is set up is like, well, if you don't have it, then are you happy? Like I
Yeah,
said, I had a Benz. I was in South Florida. Like a Benz and South Florida go together like orange in Florida. Like it's everybody in South Florida drives Benz if you are doing well for yourself. Like it's just like, I don't know, it just comes with it, and I followed right on behind it. I had two of them, and it was just like this joint just take you from Publix and back. Publix to the like it's nothing besides a car, but my value had been put into it. And I snapped immediately out of it when faced with having to sell all my stuff and things and say, that's what I was possibly not going to get if I kept with all of this stuff. Because I
yeah.
seen it, I was just going to keep accumulating it like
The new one,
Amazon
I want
or
the new car. I want the yeah. And then you don't realize how you've been boxed in. Like, they made us so sick to the point where they like made walking like something lame. Like, you're lame, you're broke, you walking, you don't have a
look at
car, you
them.
don't have a car. Y'all, I have walked more in the
You a
last
scrub.
2 years than I have walked in the last 20 years of my life. And then it hit me. It was like, wow. I used to drive my car to the mailbox, like insanity. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. Like, that's the first thing to go out on women. We talk about hip replacement, knee replacement, like it's a normal thing. That's not normal. Like, auntie should not be getting hip replacements, right? And
No.
so we have to start walking. And then they've made it so hard to walk. It's so dangerous. It's just so many things. And like, those are the things I can't give up. My ability. I have a car. I still walk. I'm not giving it up. When I travel, I miss it. The water, I'm not giving it up. My
I
peace of
hate
mind, not
driving.
the distractions, I'm not giving it up. The news, the overconsume, I'm not giving it up. Like, there's a peace that comes with leaving that vortex that it's hard for us to explain to y'all. And it's
Yeah.
only, and I honestly think that people who are doing the work on themselves are the only people who deserve it.
That leads me into not everybody is ready to move abroad.
Not
I mentioned
everybody.
that to you. Everybody should not move abroad. If you think that I am
Everybody.
here to say that, everybody just come and bring yourself as you are and just come and you aren't listening. We do these conversations to help prepare you because it is about the resources and the steps that you need to take. But we're having some real nuanced conversations that are designed to kind of wake you up from this stupor and this slumber that you've been in America and realize that yes, you can have a better life. But you will not have a better life if you take exactly who you are and how you do things and expect to go across there wherever you go and for them to speak the language. for everybody to move as fast as you were expecting them to, and things to go
Mhm.
exactly the way you were planned them out. That's why we do this. That's why we bring on the resources outside of our minds and mouths to be able to say this is our experience. But look, these people that we have worked with, you have helped over 50 people this year. I don't have seen more people in front of me on the phone and have started coming out here and actually moving out here than I have ever seen. And then the people that we work with, the resources, the immigration lawyers, the these guys have helped hundreds of people, maybe even close to 1,000 plus people move to Colombia successfully. So we
Mhm.
present us, but the conference presents our entire team of experts that essentially are making your job a lot easier and taking that first step.
Yes. So what we're saying, guys, when y'all see us, it's a team behind us, right? I would not do all of this stuff by myself. Of course, you hear me say all the time it's Lily, but we have accountants, we have attorneys, we have a team of staff that manages all of the emails. No, you're not going to see me with them every day. It's like what, seven of them in that office? Where we gonna just be walking behind each other like that?
Like the
No.
right people.
But there's a lot that goes into this. You scale, like, yeah, you don't start off with the team, you don't start off with the staff. I used to have to do a lot of this stuff myself, but I don't have to do that anymore. So, and you need this stuff. I still find out every day things change, right? We're about to go into a new year. Visas, the requirements going to be different. The cost is going to be different. Y'all better even hope they still even doing digital nomads. So if you sitting on the sidelines waiting to get a visa, you're crazy. If you're sitting on the sidelines waiting, you're crazy, right? So always be prepared, always have a plan B. I am the first person that will always preach positivity, but preparation is not that I don't believe or I have fear. Preparation is just being prepared. That's it. That
Nah.
is it.
So August 23rd, where will you be? Hopefully in the room. The virtual
I will
conference
be.
will be starting at 12 p.m. Central Time. You guys can go get tickets. Early bird is available. I think they start off at $30 for the full conference. It's about 4 hours, give or take, 12 to 3:30, but we do have everybody come on. Tisha and I will obviously be on. She'll be handling Santa Marta, what that looks like, coming from housing, the different nuances of what even the climate is there, because it is not Medellin's climate.
It's
I'll
different.
be on there speaking about specific things with Medellin. We'll have our local neighborhood guides. We'll have our healthcare expert on there, as well as real estate, immigration visas. We've got a woman that even will go to the bank with you because if you don't speak Spanish, and help you open up a bank account. These are all of the resources that are going to be available to you. I do think it ends August 1st, super early bird. So prices will rise after August 1st. So please go to movetravelcolumbia.com and cop up. I'm excited to continue to have these conversations. Looking forward to jumping in with these questions that you guys have about the move abroad process, and then seeing you guys on the 23rd so that you can see our full presentation, get everything and all of the resources that you need to make that first step, and then essentially hope to see you guys on the physical relocation tour so you can kind of walk around, turn some of these doors, see some of these apartments that we have, and really get to experience what Colombia has for you. But I appreciate everybody, as well as you, teacher, for jumping on, spending a little bit of
Yeah.
time with us to get ready, because your opportunity to take the first step to move abroad is coming, and we are excited to be able to welcome you.
Yes, guys, we will be doing these lives once a week. We're going to try. Let's say hold us to that once a week. All of us might be here, some may not. But once a week, we're going to give y'all as much information as we can for free. I know we get off on a tangent sometimes, but listen, there's valuable information in here. If you start doing the work on yourself now, when you move abroad, everything is going to be peaches and creams. I'm telling you. So we'll see you guys next. We're going to answer more of your questions. Keep those questions coming. And yeah, we're here. We're here to support and help everybody feel what we've been feeling for the last couple of years. RJ, I will see you next week in Medellin. If you guys are in
Yes, we will be live. We
we
will
will
not
be
be in like
live
virtual
in
rooms,
Medellin next week.
live in
So I'll
person.
be out there, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.
All righty, I'll talk to you then.
All right. Ciao, ciao, guys. Ciao, ciao.